So recently, I flew my very first A321neo in business class to Munich. Went on an airside bus tour there, and today I'll be returning back home on the Airbus A320, not the Neo, the CEO, which is the current engine option, with none other than my home country airline, Queer Fungus. Don't ask why I call it that, let's keep it pushing. My journey begins where I walked out of the service center towards Terminal 1 to find the Aer Lingus check-in desk, which I wasn't entirely sure where it was. So instead, I decided to make a U-turn to find where the area is located. Now bear in mind, this airport is completely new to me, so I wasn't familiar on how it was laid out, as there were so many signs pointing me to many directions. So I gave in and asked the staff at the info desk where it was, and all I needed to do was head to the same place I walked past, turn left up the escalator to check and see where Aer Lingus is located. There we go at the Aer Lingus check-in desk, and as I queue up there, let's take a look at what Aer Lingus A320 will take me back home. Come on, bring it to me. DER. Yes guys, unfortunately, Echo India Delta Echo Romeo or Saint Mel will be taking me back home, which was a shame because I was actually hoping for Delta Echo India on the rugby livery to take me back instead. But listen, it's aviation, you can't have it all. Damn it. Anyways, I've received my boarding pass from the check-in desk and it's time for me to head over to airside through security. Here is a flight board showing various flights departing out of Terminal 1, and here is my flight EI357, which will be departing 25 minutes to 9 at gate CO3. Well, sort of. I'll explain why in a few. As I continue my walk, below me you can see the food court area as well as passengers queuing up and chilling there. And here I am at the Seagate's airside. And yes, my flight was initially supposed to leave at CO3 at 8:35, but unfortunately we had a gate change and an hour delay, which gives me a lot of time to take a look around the airport off camera and do some plane spotting. After spotting a few planes, I've decided to go back to the waiting area to find somewhere to sit, listen to some music, had a grub to eat, and tracked my ride on Flight Radar 24. Here you can see Delta Echo Romeo or Mel on final at runway 25 right. And taking a thorough look at Mel, you can see that this plane had recently been through 4 delays. It started off on time on the Dublin to Dusseldorf route. Then it was delayed on the return leg all the way towards the Dublin to Munich, where this flight, Munich to Dublin, will be its 5th delay. A couple of minutes later, you can see my ride taxiing towards the remote stand. Now this A320 current engine option had its first flight in October of 2005 and was delivered a month later in November of 2005, making it 18 years of age. Now this A320 is powered by 2 CFM56 engines, which are the same engines you would see on, you guessed it, the A340-200 and 300. This engine is a lot louder than the CFM LEAP 1A engines on the 320 Neos. Right, so boarding began, but not in an organized fashion, as there are passengers scattered and swarming all over the gate. This seems to be more of an airport issue than an airline issue, as lanes aren't provided for both priority and non-priority passengers to line up and board. The same happened with Josh Koho when he boarded his Turkish Airlines flight to Istanbul. After 20 minutes, I have finally made my way down the stairs into the shuttle bus. Across the shuttle bus, I saw the Emirates A380 parked up at the gate. Had I not stood there in the queue for so long, I would have been able to get a good shot of the aircraft taxiing and parking there. Oh well. Anyways, let's make our way over to the plane. Here we are inside the A320 with a 3-3 configuration. Let's take a look at the seat by starting off with the seat pocket, which is non-existent as it is all sealed up. The seat has a decent legroom, and moving my personal item towards me, you can see that there is sufficient room to stretch my legs. It has an adjustable tray table and a coat hook for hanging your jacket or hoodie. The seat itself is well padded and has an adjustable headrest, making it a comfortable seat. Also in front of my seat there is a safety card showing instructions both at the front and at the back. At the panel above my head there is an air vent and a reading light. And panning my iPhone camera from right to left, you can see the mood light of the cabin in blue.
First of all, apologies for the significant delay in departure today. We picked this aircraft up in London Heathrow earlier on. It's been on Heathrow Dublin rotations, and it just picked up quite a number of air traffic control delays during the day. We've been doing our best to make up for lost time, and we made up about half an hour on the way over. We do have a long flight time back because the winds that helped us over are going to be going against us on the way back. Flight time this evening expected around 2 hours 15 minutes, but very pleasant flight conditions on route, and the weather in Dublin is a little better here. Possibly light showers.
After the captain has apologized and given us their reason for the delay, it is now time for the plane to begin its pushback and taxi towards the runway. While we're taxiing to the runway, allow me to give you guys the rundown on this flight. The plane will intersect departure out of runway 25 right, forming a bank right turn up towards the north, flying over Nuremberg and cruising at 36,000 feet. While cruise, it will fly over Dortmund, Amsterdam, the North Sea, parts of England, ultimately descending down over the Irish Sea, landing at runway 28 left at Dublin Airport. Holding short on the runway, I encountered an inbound aircraft shining its way past us, which is one of Condor's cursed creations on the A320 in yellow. What do you guys think of it?
First time seeing Condor's new livery.
Alright, so whilst this plane is climbing to its altitude, I was busy having fun fighting with my iPhone 14 Pro's autofocus, as there were so many town lights from below that I desperately wanted to get clear shots off of. But every time I try, my phone just keeps disrespecting me, which was so annoying. I mean, you think I'm not doing anything behind the camera, but in reality, I'm seriously actually tapping on the screen, trying to get it to focus properly. Anyways, here's a decent view of the city of Nuremberg below. After passing Nuremberg, my phone kept on doing the same thing over and over for up to the end of meal service. While I was trying to get my phone camera to focus properly, one of the cabin crew was talking to the other passengers and mentions me recording. I responded to him saying that I couldn't get any clear shots from my camera at all. So he tried dimming the cabin lights and nothing ever improved. So he went over to the flight deck and asked the pilots or the flight crew if they can help record some footage for me off the cockpit. While I was asking the flight crew, my phone finally picked up some footage, focusing on a few towns and villages lighting up below. After getting those beautiful shots down below, the crew came over to me and asked if he can take my phone to give to the flight crew to record the flight deck. And I was like, yeah, I mean, sure, I'm down. Let me just take off my seatbelt, come with him. But then Aeroflot 593 lingered in my brain just there. So I was like, no, you know what? Let him just take my phone. You know what I mean? Anyways, here are the shots that the flight crew has taken while I was sitting and waiting patiently on my seat. Alright, so the first shot we have here shows the beautiful night view of the moon, stars, and a couple of city, village, or town lights below the clouds. Here we have a few more shots showing a few small city or town lights lighting up, as well as the remaining light from the sky above those clouds. Here is another shot of the footage showing the pilots panning the camera from right to left. Next, we have a shot of the cockpit instruments of this A320, being the engine thrust, the trim wheels, the MCDUs, the ADFRMIs, the upper and lower ECAMs, and finally another shot of the instruments where you can see the primary flight display on the left and the navigation display showing that we are flying over the Netherlands, approaching over Amsterdam. Anyways, that's all the wonderful shots taken by the flight crew. I just want to give my gratitude towards the cabin crew member for having these pilots take those wonderful shots in the air, especially when I was trying so hard to get a good, clear shot off the window. But every single time it just keeps disrespecting me. But when it comes to the pilots, it respects them because they are pilots. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, it is time for me to get up off my seats, stretch my legs, and do one more thing. The loo review! Alright, so here's what the loo looks like, which is pretty much the same as the other A320s that I recently flew on. You got the sink, the tap, as well as going around the room, you can see that there really isn't anything special, really. It's a little clean, regardless of the fact that it has been used before I came in, so yeah. You also have an air vent located up on the side, just like on the A321. Anyways, it's time for me to get out of here and head back into my seat. Okay, so right now I think we are over the North Sea. Maybe we just hit England. I'm not entirely sure. While I was at the toilet, I think we were cruising
there's nobody nuts. We can see another aircraft coming in. See the beacon lights flashing.
For the remaining hour and 10 minutes, I spent the majority of my time recording more footage off my disrespectful iPhone. And whenever I'm not using it, I sat there facing the safety card in front of me or looking out the window. And this is where my boredom began to grow. This is where it became a test for me because I literally had no idea where we were as the clouds were covering so much views down below. I was hoping for this plane to begin its descent by hearing the engine thrust powering down, but nope, still cruising. I tried getting a shut-eye, hoping for the same result. Nope, still cruising. And opening my eyes, I started to think to myself, what is it like flying on the A320? And the only thing popping out of my brain was comfortable and boring, because that's what I literally thought about this aircraft. Now don't get me wrong, from A319 up to the A321 XLR, it's a beautiful plane. Well, not as beautiful as the 757, but it is beautiful. But there's nothing special or unique about it. Yes, I left the A318 because it's an ugly plane and it's short as hell, so yeah.
This is not a transatlantic flight. Jesus.
You can tell how irritated and impatient I was on this flight. It's like I had slight cabin fever. Like, even sitting on my seat, I just felt giddy because I just really want this plane to descend. While I was sitting down giddy and uncomfortable, I was also dehydrated as I felt my mouth going dry, so I pressed the cabin crew call bell so I can get a bottled water. And fam, as soon as that bottled water left that cabin crew's hand, I went straight into it, downed it as if I'm down in Corona to the last drop. And I was pretty amazed of how I managed to get everything down to the last drop. No wasting. Just the water is gone. Nowhere to be seen. Anyways, after admiring the looks of this empty bottle, I have finally gotten the sound that I was impatiently waiting for. Those of you that have not used your headphones will miss out in hearing the satisfying sounds of those thrust-reducing engines, indicating our top of descent after 2 whole years of cruising altitude, which means it is time to conclude this flight. First, let me talk about the staff friendliness, because the cabin crew were very accommodating and helpful on this flight, especially when I was experiencing some hiccups with my iPhone camera's autofocus, which saved the flight for me, but for the rest, it was extremely boring, uneventful, and slightly disappointing. All of those describing words goes to the in-flight entertainment, or a lack thereof. I'm gonna talk like a high maintenance individual because in every trip report I have to be frank and honest. I can't be out here blowing smoke up of every airline's behind and thinking that every airline is the best. There's stuff that needs to be fixed. And if airlines actually look at the videos, it doesn't have to be my videos, it could be any other videos, and be able to analyze what they're doing wrong and make some improvements out of it moving forward, I'm pretty sure the airline would be much better than just, staying the same as the other airlines, that you would see around the world. I don't know the examples, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? From an Irish national flag carrier, I honestly expected a little better. Granted, their seats are comfortable to sit on, especially with the recline and the adjustable headrest. But it would have been better for the airline to retrofit the existing A321LR economy class seats with the seat back entertainment into the A320s and the Neos respectively to enhance the passenger experience, or add in-flight Wi-Fi and other plug outlets instead, maybe under the seat. Other than that, the flight was decent. It was boring. Honestly, I didn't really eat anything, nor was I ever hungry, because I've already eaten before getting on to the plane. So yeah, overall I'm gonna rate this flight a 6 out of 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, now on our final approach into Dublin, we'd ask you to make one final check that your seatbelts are securely fastened. Thank you. Boys and girls, you're all very welcome to Dublin. The local time here is just approaching 25 minutes past 11. Very comfortable more, especially for your safety, we'd ask you to remain in your seats with your seatbelt fastened until the captain switches off to fasten seatbelt sign. We'd ask you to take particular care of the sewing item, or opening the overhead bins as items which may have become displaced during the flight could fall out, causing injury to you or indeed to other passengers.
Wow, what a drag! Which is what Shikamaru always says in every Naruto or Boruto series. But for real though, that flight was a total drag. Like, there was literally nothing to do except for record, but even if I record, my phone just keeps disrespecting me, which was so annoying. We have arrived with a flight time of 2 hours and 20 minutes, which, to be honest with you, it didn't even feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It felt like 4 hours and 40 minutes. Because of the fact that there was literally nothing going on. It just felt a flight without an in-flight entertainment, whether it's Wi-Fi or seat back entertainment, just felt longer. I'm only saying that because I flew a flight that's over 2 hours back in 2018. From there on, I just didn't even fly any flight. The aircraft I flew on was Delta Victor November 320. That took me from Dublin to Lanzarote and back. Felt like an hour and 10 minutes, both on returns. And I was thinking, okay, you know what, I like this flight, you know what I mean? But now nowadays, I'm starting to realize this flight is it's becoming long. And I feel like I just want to get back into flying flights that are over 2 hours, so I can just be able to cope myself into thinking, oh, this flight is not that bad, you know what I mean? So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to be taxiing towards the remotes, and after that we're just going to be getting off the air stairs into the shuttle bus. And once we're into the shuttle bus, I think that's where the video ends, because my phone died whilst I was recording on the shuttle bus. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do not forget to like this video right in there, slam that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you guys will be notified to more of my uploads, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Take care.